Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to Fernvalley Farm's YouTube channel. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Vince, and welcome to the channel. All right, really quick here, this is another getting ready for summer here, spring beekeeping season, building more stuff. I like to build all my own stuff. It's cheaper when you can build your own equipment, because you start buying all these hives and these boxes and inner covers and screen bottom boards and deeps and supers, and it starts to add up. So what I'm going to show you really quick here in this video is how I build my own inner covers. They are so much stronger when you build them yourself. The store-bought ones are fine, but a lot of times those things are stapled on the corners, and after a while you put your hive tool and you're trying to break it loose when the bees got it propolized, and they start to come loose and they start to fall apart. And I just build my own. They're just so much stronger. I really, really like them. So here's what looks like done. Really simple. I mean, this is so easy to do. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. 1/2-inch plywood. I got 3 holes I drill, not only for ventilation, but so the bees can come through it, get up into the top feeders. Even if there's not a feeder, they just come up through the inner cover. They can get out through the upper entrance. I forgot to put it on, but I always have I have an upper entrance hooked down here. I just haven't cut that out yet. But actually, let me show you right here. Okay, here's one that's done. See the upper entrance? These are down here. I just got to repaint some of this stuff. But you put the upper entrance in here. These things are solid. They ain't going nowhere. You put your hive tool in, pop them loose. Like I said, the vent holes work out really, really well. In the winter time, a lot of ventilation. I got my insulated inner cover that goes on top of this. Lots of ventilation. The bees can come through it. It works out really well. And this thing is solid. They ain't going anywhere. So how I do this is really easy. So, like I always say, I don't want everybody to just sit here and watch me cut wood and saw and everything else. So I've got the pieces already cut. What I do is I go on my router table over there and I cut a 1/2-inch groove down the sides. I cut it about, I just cut them in the middle. You want to make sure you got enough bee space, which is about 3/8 if I remember right. But I just cut them all right down the middle. It's just easier. And I sometimes cut these grooves just a little bit deeper than normal. If I try and cut them right on the money so it fits perfect, it never comes out right. It just never fails. But when you get your plywood cut and get it trimmed the way you want it, put it on your table saw, or if you got a hand saw, just make sure you cut it straight. And you can see this is an old piece of plywood. I didn't paint this like this on purpose. My kid was making something with this. But this plywood is dry, it's solid, it wasn't outside. So the painted side will be facing up. Not that it really matters. But I like to use plywood. I do not use particle board or OSB, because moisture can get into that and sometimes that stuff can kind of fall apart. So the plywood is solid, because like OSB and particle board is like, the particle board is like sawdust glued together. OSB is like scrap pieces of wood that they glue together and they make it whatever thickness it needs to be. And it works perfectly fine for lots of stuff, but I don't do it for this because this moisture is going to be hitting this, and I want moisture hitting the regular plywood, not OSB or particle board, because it could make it like come apart. But with the plywood it won't. So especially since it's in the hive, you want it nice and solid. So what I do, I got this cut to size. Let me bring the camera over here. All right, I've got these pieces cut, and all I do is put them on. And these are going to be glued in, but I'm not going to glue them yet. I'm going to get it all set first. So once it's already set, then I will glue it. It's just easier to kind of get it put together and then glue it. That fits in there so nice. When you cut that 1/2-inch groove on your router table, it works out really well. Now, if you ain't got a router table, I'm not saying go buy a router table, you could do this too, where you could just cut your pieces. Because all this is, these pieces here are actually the pieces cut off. When I build a deep box, you have to use a 1x12 to build a deep. Well, you got to trim it off to make it the right height. This is the extra scrap. That's why you should always save all your scrap lumber. You never know when it comes in handy. Or you could take a 1x4 and cut that in half, and you can make it like that too. Like the one I just showed you that was white. This one here, this was made with a 1x4. I just put them on a table saw and just cut them in half. These are scraps from the deeps that I build. So these are just a little narrower than the 1x4, and it works perfectly fine. This thing is solid. So now, get it all set. Is that beautiful or what? Look at how easy that was. That is not going nowhere. But now what you got to do, I'll take my deep box, like so. Before I glue it, I'm going to make sure I'm on the money. How beautiful is that, huh? Look at that, right on the money. Square. Perfect. So now, what I can do, that's why whenever I'm building some of this stuff, I always keep a super handy or a deep handy, so I can kind of line it all up, make sure it all fits right. Don't just cut the wood, glue it all together and go. You want to just check it first and make sure it's where it's supposed to be. If you have to trim this off just a hair or whatever. And you can see, when I cut these on my router table, I just go all the way across, instead of trying to stop, because if you try and cut part way and pull it out, sometimes the wood splinters, so I just run it all the way across. It puts that gap on the end, but the plywood is covering that hole so bees can't get in there. Robbers can't get in there, so that works out really well. So now I've got it all set. Can you see this on the table here? Alright, so now what I'll do is pop these off. Just tap them loose. And I kind of leave them like right where they're at. On the size that they need to be at. And I'm all set. So now, like I said in other videos, my Tidal Bond 2 glue, which is waterproof. It's weatherproof. It's made for outside. I'll run a bead. I'll run beads right down that. Run a bead of glue. If you hear all that noise on this video, that's my dog upstairs running around. It's crazy. When she's up there running, she's only a puppy. It sounds like a horse running through the house. I don't know if you can hear that or not. You might not, but to me, it sounds like a horse running through the house. So just in case you're wondering what that noise is, there. So you run your glue down there. You take your time. It ain't going to dry that fast. You got plenty of time. So now I will take this. You know how nice that is? God, I love it. Just pops right in. And you can still adjust this. And if you're moving the glue around a little bit, it ain't going to hurt nothing. So put that on like that. Tap. Bingo. That is so easy, and when this dries, this is so solid. And when you do this too, and if you do this with a router table, if you have a little gap here or there, you can run a bead of glue. You can run a bead of glue on the inside just for extra strength. And sometimes I'll do that. I'll just run a bead of glue on the seams. It just gives it extra strength, just in case. You know, you got your groove not deep enough and your plywood's not hitting it all the way. But this is right on the money. So now, take this, look, put it on. And if you have to adjust it just a little bit, you can take it. Tap it. you go. That's it. Your own inner covers. I have some store-bought ones and they work just fine. But like I said, after a while with the hive tool and propping them loose, they start to just come apart. Because all they do is they put staples in it. So anyways, there you have it. There's your inner cover. Let the glue dry. Like I said, I'm going to run a bead of glue. I'll probably run a bead of glue on the inside of here just for a little bit extra strength. And then once this is dry, I will put it back on the router table and I will cut a notch out for the upper entrance. And you're good to go. Give it a coat of paint and we're ready. I've got a bunch of splits going to do in the spring here. I got a couple of 2-pound packages coming. I plan on going to about 12 hives. My plan is the number 12. I got number 12 in my head for this year, so I plan to expand to 12, and then next year either double that or come close to that. So we'll see. Anyways, build your own stuff. It's kind of rewarding, obviously, to build your own stuff. Save yourself a whole bunch of money instead of buying this stuff. You start getting a lot of hives, and start buying everything. It adds up quick. You could spend hundreds of dollars really fast on deeps. The only thing I don't build is my frames, and I'll do a video on that. I got a bunch of frames to start putting together. Frames I don't buy. I put them together. I buy them unassembled, but I don't buy those. I buy the foundations. I buy the frames. I put them together myself, and I'll do a video on that once we get to that point. So, anyways, that's it. There's your inner cover. Let the glue dry. Cut the upper entrance. Paint it. It's ready to go outside on the hive. So. Hopefully you like this video. Hopefully you learned something from it. Do me a favor, support the channel. Hit this little subscribe button right here. When you do subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell next to the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. You'll get notified every time a video comes out. Let me know in the comments below if you guys build your own stuff. I'm just curious how many people buy their stuff or if you build it. Support the channel. I really, really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up. And YouTube, I will talk to you guys soon. All right, bye.